So I always find that fascinating. I think it's helpful. It's, it comes down to the question of who makes money off of this. And that's kind of where that vegetable oil came from. So needless to say, when I say bad fats, I'm talking about obviously hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils, but I'm also talking about vegetable oils. So let's talk about good fats. Let's talk about like what you can use in your home cooking and in your foods as a good source of fat that's going to feed your brain so we don't get dementia and Alzheimer's, and it's going to feed your cell membranes so that they stay intact and you don't get leaky gut. Again, fats are just so important. So coconut oil is obviously a go-to in our family. A lot of people cook with this a ton, and I personally can only use it in Asian dishes, but I do use it in all our baking. It does taste like coconut, so like I can't make my eggs in it. It just doesn't work for me. Not a flavor I love with my eggs, even though I love coconut. But coconut oil, you want extra virgin raw, again, because it's not going through the heat. I know our Costco sells refined and unrefined coconut oil. You want the unrefined. You do not want the highly processed coconut oil because it's the same. It's gone through the heating. That makes it rancid. And they do that to pull out that coconut flavor, which is naturally supposed to be there. And so really, I mean, it comes down to eating real food, and real food as it should be without the processing. So coconut oil is a good one. Coconut oil is great because it also handles high heat. So it's a good one to do like your 400 degree baking in, or sautés that you're gonna, put your stove at higher temperatures. So coconut oil does high heat really well, because that's the other thing with oil is at certain smoke points it does become rancid. Olive oil is one of the ones that's really fragile. And so it's really better to use it in cold salads and in salad dressings. Or you can drizzle it on the meal after you're done with the cooking. So like we make a cabbage soup, and I infuse garlic and olive oil, and then we drizzle that on top after it's done. So I do not cook with it. Some people do roast with it. I've heard mixed reviews on if it can handle the 350 for roasting. I try not to use it a ton because I'm not certain on the degree that it's stable. And it doesn't say on here its stability. Where like avocado oil I appreciate because it actually says on there that it handles high fat, or high heat. So I do keep this on hand because, on the days you don't want to take the time to melt coconut oil or melt butter, just needing that liquid oil, to me avocado oil is one of the best options because it does handle the heat up to 500 degrees. And again, it's cold pressed. And so it's not heated when it's processed. And then butter. We do organic butter, which I don't know that I have right now. We need to go to the grocery store. I have one thing left. So we do organic butter. Honestly, this is a go-to for us because the flavor is good, and it's so good for you. And like organic, if you can get organic grass-fed butter, it's a great source of vitamin A. So they talk about, we get our vitamin A from our carrots. Well, not really. We get beta carotene from our carrots, and then our body has to take that beta carotene and turn it into vitamin A. And there's a whole process there, and you lose some of those nutrients in the process. So the beauty of grass-fed organic butter is that you get vitamin A straight up, which is awesome. Other really good sources of fat are olives, green, black, whatever. So when you think of your oils, like your avocado oil and your olive oil, well, any of those foods are also great sources of fat. So your avocados, and just shredded coconut is a great option. Nuts and seeds. So again, seeds are a great source of fat when they haven't been processed at such a high heat, they're not rancid. And then like for the PAM, if you guys read the ingredient list on PAM, it's usually hydrogenated oils. So trying to find like a spray of, like, the ingredient list on this is just extra virgin olive oil. Again, not ideal because it's olive oil and you are using it on heat. They make coconut oil sprays, but in Colorado we've actually haven't had a lot of luck with that because our pantry gets cold enough that it gets hard, so it doesn't stay in the spray form. So that, still working on a good option for that. But again, you guys are looking for those are, you know, really good examples of good, healthy, true fats that aren't overly processed. They're not rancid. It's, you know, that canola oil and that sunflower seed oil are really the ones that you're going to see in most of the quote unquote health food products. So you do have to watch for that. I had another thought for you on fats, and I can't, roasted nuts. If you're not getting dry roasted nuts, for the most part, they're going to be roasted in peanut oil or canola oil. So again, you're looking at basically rancid oils. So if you can get dry roasted or raw, raw is probably your ideal. Sprouted is your ideal. Raw is next. Dry roasted is a decent option. But you do need to watch the oils that your nuts are roasted in. So hopefully that'll give you guys some areas to look at and continue to clean up your diets a little bit more. That way, like, this idea of clean eating, sometimes it cracks me up because it's such a general term, and the foods that people post under clean eating make me crazy because I'm like, do you read the ingredient list? Do you know what that means? So anyways, this will give you some foundation for truly clean eating, and that's pulling out those vegetable oils. Again, if you can pull them all out, that would be awesome. It is significantly harder to pull them out because it's like our corn chips have it, our veggie straws have it. Let's see, I know we have a few other items that have the canola oil or the safflower and sunflower oil in them. And so especially, the other thing is if you're like dairy free, you're going to find a ton of it because they're replacing it with butter, or they're replacing butter with the vegetable oils. So, so just like taking note of that, trying to eliminate it. Like I said, our policy is we don't cook with any of that. We use all healthy fats, and then we try to limit the processed foods. But again, if you can totally eliminate those vegetable fats, you will be better off for it. So I hope this was helpful. Again, as always, please post questions below. If you have questions about a product or a fat or an oil, like once you get into the store, post a picture of the oil and I will let you know if it's good or bad. So I hope you guys have a great Wednesday, and we will do this again.